Hello, and welcome to the Mysteries of Sakura, the definitive deep dive into the beloved Street Fighter character. Today, we'll be exploring the many facets of Sakura, from her close-knit group of friends to her dark and powerful alter ego. Join us as we uncover the secrets and hidden depths of this dynamic and complex fighter. So get ready to take a journey into the unknown as we uncover the many mysteries of Sakura. Without further ado, let me welcome you to the Street Fighterverse. Sakura Kazukano's initial concept of her design was created by Street Fighter's Akira Akiman Yasuda, mostly known for creating most of the Street Fighter roster in Street Fighter II. In the early stages of developing the Street Fighter Alpha 2 game, Akira Yasuda was called to share his insight in the development of this project. He offered Sakura as a character, and the Street Fighter Alpha team were not impressed with the character. This event rapidly bummed out Akira Yasuda, but luckily after going back to his desk, his boss passed by and loved the design of Sakura, which led to the inclusion of Sakura in the Street Fighter Alpha 2 game. Never expected that a character like Sakura was ever going to be cancelled. She is one of the most beloved Street Fighter characters in existence. In the early stages of Sakura's design, she wears a kimono shirt and hakama pants, traditional attire from Japan. Later in development, it was changed to a Japanese sailor outfit. Akira Yasuda's inspiration was based on the schoolgirl type characterization that was popular at that time. It is said that the creation of Sakura's clothing was inspired by Sailor Moon. Being popular in Japan and in many parts of the world, Sailor Moon is an anime and manga written and illustrated by Naoko Taikuchi. The series follows the adventures of a schoolgirl named Usagi Tsukino, as she transforms into Sailor Moon to search for a magical artifact, the legendary Silver Crystal. She leads a group of friends, the Sailor Soldiers, or Sailor Guardians, in which they changed the name in later editions. Sailor Moon and the Guardians battle villains against the theft of the Silver Crystal and the destruction of the solar system. Akiman Yasuda is known to find inspiration from diverse places. It is said that part of Sakura's creation was inspired by Black Widow, a character from the video game franchise Slam Masters. It is also said that one of the early concepts of Sakura was a biker girl, which was rehashed and made into Akira from rival schools. Coincidentally, Akira Kasama herself would become playable in a Street Fighter game, starting with Street Fighter V Champion Edition as a DLC character. Sakura's type of attire is called a seifuku in Japan. The Japanese school uniform is modeled in appearance similar to that of the European-style naval uniforms. It was first used in Japan in the late 19th century, replacing the traditional kimono. Today, school uniforms are common in many of the Japanese public and private school systems. She also wears red Converse-style shoes, a midriff-bearing red top under her uniform, red sparring gloves, a yellow neckerchief, and a white headband that was given to her by Ryu before the events of Street Fighter Alpha 2. She has short brown hair and brown eyes. Her fuku is blue with single white linings on each side and white socks. In Street Fighter IV and Street Fighter X Tekken, her socks are shorter and their color is navy blue. Her school uniform becomes her nostalgia costume in Street Fighter V. In her ending in Super Street Fighter IV, her hair is slightly longer. She wears a red high-neck sporty jacket with a single line at the center, a white short-sleeve undershirt, black shorts, white socks, and white sneakers, with matching designs. She also maintains her white headband. In Street Fighter V, Sakura wears a different outfit that consists of a navy blue vest with a pink trim, a white long-sleeve button shirt underneath, a pleated skirt with frills at the edge, black mid-length socks, and black short-looking boots. Her tie is long, and the colors are pink and white, and is tied at her midriff bearing top. Like Ryu's, her headband is red, along with matching gloves with a stylized written on the white lines. She also has a head microphone in her left ear. Sakura is a highly energetic, outgoing, and hardworking character who takes her martial arts very seriously. She is highly competitive, especially with Street Fighter character Karin Kanzuki. You can see many of their rivalries in Sakura's Ganbaru manga, and Uran Comics Street Fighter Legends Sakura editions. Sakura has a noble soul with a determined perspective from her classroom obligations, as well as her martial arts training. Due to her charisma of innocence and her sincere attitude, Sakura has gained the admiration and friendship of many, including her best friend Kei Chiyotse and other of her close friends Hinata, Natsu, and Shoma. She is a huge fan of Ryu's fighting style. Her fighting style is inspired by Ryu, since she imitates everything that he does from a fighter's perspective and philosophies in the battle arena. She manages to balance her schoolwork with her training, in hopes of being accepted as Ryu's student, and prove herself by fighting worthy adversaries. In a clean match, Sakura is a very patient and disciplined warrior. She is the embodiment of innocence, and is acknowledged by many fighters to have great potential, that may one day match Ryu and Ken in strength when she gets older and skilled. Sakura's fighting techniques, as stated before, is similar to the style of Ryu's and Ken's. She can effectively gather chi energy. Sakura can perform the Hadouken like Ryu, but not as extensive as him, due to her lack of formal training. She can control the size of her Hadouken to an extent, sacrificing distance for power. Her Hadoukens can be 3 times as large as her normal Hadoukens. She also uses the Shuppunkyaku, a shorter version of the Tatsumaki Seppunkyaku. The difference between the two is that, for example, Ryu's Tatsumaki stays constant in the air, while Sakura's descends in an arc motion pattern. Another one of her techniques is the Shokuken, the copycat version of the Shoryuken. While most of the Shoryukens are made from a standing anti-air point, Sakura performs it by running and throwing body blows, ending the combination with an uppercut. In her appearance in Street Fighter EX3, she gains 2 unique meteor combos. First is the Negetsu Hadouken, in which she fires a massive pink Hadouken, which is several times her size, exceptionally fast, and does more damage than any other projectile attack in the game. The second is Genki Ichiban. She tiptoes towards her opponent and points and laughs. In Street Fighter V, her critical art is the Sakura Rain, where she shoots Hadouken to knock her opponent. As she strikes her pose, she hits her opponent with a powerful Shunpunkyaku and punches hard to the opponent's groin, followed by an uppercut to knock them down. Her punch and uppercut to her opponent nearly resembles a slower version of Ryu's Metsu Shoryuken. The first on our list is Kei. Kei Chitose is a close friend with Sakura, who attends the same high school. She sometimes goes along with Sakura on her adventures, but more often than not, fails to keep up with the energetic Sakura, Dan Hibiki and Blanca. Since Dan was her sensei, Sakura respects him as both a friend and a teacher. However, this friendship is double-sided, because she often uses him to find Ryu whenever she needs to. In return, Dan boasts her as one of his star students, perhaps helping him give Saikyo Ryu some credibility. Both are on good terms with each other, regardless. Ibuki. Both being high school girls, Sakura and Ibuki have been able to hold a close relationship with one another. This is mainly because of the latter's interest in boys, and that Ibuki had never met someone so cool that is also within her age group, allowing the two to get to know one another easier than with older fighters. It was thanks to this that Ibuki got the attention of Karin in Street Fighter V. Alina. Alina and Sakura are seen as friends due to being roughly the same age, and because both girls share a kind-hearted, tomboyish personality. They both share the same views about fighting and combat, making their friendship easygoing without trouble. According to Alina's arcade ending in Ultra Street Fighter 4, it was thanks to Sakura that she got to know more about Japan and planned to go back to meet her again. Hinata, Natsu, and Shoma. Like Kei, Sakura and all 3 students are high school friends, though all 3 students are from separate schools in the same area as Tamagawa Minami High. When Sakura is challenged by Karin in Street Fighter Legends Sakura, they help her train as well as catch Karin cheating in the hot dog eating contest and take out Karin's bodyguards. Sakura is mostly seen with Hinata and Natsu, and some screenshots where they are seen eating desserts at the coffee shop and leaving the school together in the games ending in Neketsu, Seisyung, Nikki 2. Akira. The two are acquaintances, having known and battled each other during the Taiyo High School incident and through other students, such as the aforementioned trio. In particular, Sakura helped train Akira, while the latter was pretending to be a boy attending Gedo High in order to be strong enough to save Daigo. Akira can also appear in Sakura's bad ending in rival schools united by fate. The two meet up again with the help of Karin, and Sakura gets to introduce Akira to Ibuki, who had also been invited to the Kanzuki estate. Kami. Even though there has been no example of an in-game friendship beforehand, Kami and Sakura have been close friends, as Kami has been shown to deeply care about her. This started in the second volume of Sakura Ganbaru, during Street Fighter Alpha 2, as the first volume takes place roughly before the game's events, when Kami was an amnesiac after defeating from Shadowloo and Sakura interfered with an assassination attempt on the former. After that, they traveled alongside Dan and Chun-Li to Russia, where they tag teamed against Zangief in a cage match, before going their separate ways. From then onwards, Kami and Sakura are still friends and have a friendly rivalry during battle, as shown in her win quotes against each other in Street Fighter 4. Karin. After their first fight in Sakura Ganbaru, both women have sparked a rivalry, similar to Ryu and Ken's rivalry, because of Karin's first loss in a long-lasting winning streak, briefly making avenging her own defeat a personal vendetta. However, once Karin won their rivalry match in Street Fighter Alpha 3, she admitted that Sakura is indeed better than her, and that she only won by luck. After that, they became close friends, as well as continuing their friendly rivalry. In Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, Karin invites Sakura to the Kanzuki estate to have a match. Sakura wins, but then asks Karin why is she still picking fights. Karin responds with the fact that fighting is the best way to test skill. Sakura then dismisses the idea and ponders if spending time growing in strength is the best way to go about things. Karin then asks Sakura if it would be different if she was fighting with Ryu. She calls fighting with Ryu a different story. Karin then calls Ryu and tells him to go to Sakura's house and enlighten her. Ken masters. Similar to Ryu, Sakura sees Ken as an inspiration for street fighting. Although she holds Ryu in a much higher regard, she still thinks highly of Ken. In Street Fighter 4, The Ties That Bind, when Sakura showed up to his house and beat up his bodyguards in hopes of finding Ryu, who she couldn't find at that time, Ken was shocked that his stalker couldn't find him herself. Ryu. Ryu is Sakura's main inspiration for taking up street fighting, and deeply admires him like a childhood hero and role model. Like Ken, she's willing to put her own well-being on the line to help Ryu, as shown in Street Fighter Alpha 3, where she was willing to fight M. Bison to protect Ryu, and again in Street Fighter 4, The Ties That Bind, where she stops Ryu, who was under the influence of the Satsui no Hado, from killing Sea Viper. When she heard about the disappearance of skilled fighters, she immediately flew from Japan to America, so she could ask Ken where Ryu was. In Street Fighter 5, although her motivation for street fighting diminished over the years, just the mention of Ryu gets her excited as always. Chun-Li and Sakura also have an amazing friendship. They have been seen fighting guards in the Street Fighter 4 anime. Dark Sakura, also known as Sunburned, Sun-Tanned Sakura, originates from the Marvel vs. Capcom series, first appearing in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter as a secret fighter. This is a form Sakura has taken after accidentally being burnt by the sun, gaining abilities similar to users of the Satsui no Hado, except without the loss of humanity. Dark Sakura's appearance is generally the same as her normal counterpart, albeit with darker shade on her clothing. Her bloomer shorts are black instead of the traditional red. Her red hair gains a red hue similar to that of Akuma's, and her school uniform is black and gray, rather than the traditional blue and white. When she uses the Shun Gokusatsu, her eyes change from brown to red. The fighting gloves, headband, and shoes remain the same.